Have you ever felt like you're constantly trying to improve yourself? Reading more books, watching self-improvement videos, making new plans, starting over every Monday, yet somehow you still feel like you're standing in the same place. The strange part is, the problem usually isn't your effort, it's where you're investing it.
Because psychology suggests that most people spend years improving the wrong version of themselves. And once you understand why, you'll never look at self-improvement the same way again. Before we explore the 12 investments, we first need to understand why intelligent people can work incredibly hard and still feel stuck.
Modern life teaches us to invest outward: a better phone, a better career, a better appearance, a better lifestyle. But your brain doesn't measure success the way society does. It measures something much quieter: safety, meaning, competence, connection. When these psychological needs aren't met, even success can feel strangely empty. This explains why someone can achieve everything they once dreamed about and still wake up wondering, why doesn't this feel like enough? The problem isn't that you're failing. It's that external upgrades don't automatically update your internal operating system. Imagine trying to install powerful new software on an old computer that has never been updated. Eventually, everything slows down. The same thing happens inside your mind. This is important to understand. You are not broken. Your brain is simply doing what it evolved to do. Its first priority has never been happiness. It's survival. Long before humans worried about confidence, productivity, or personal growth, the brain evolved to keep us alive, which means it naturally prefers what's familiar, even when familiar keeps us stuck. That changes how we see ourselves. You're not fighting against yourself. You're working with a brain designed for a different world. And that brings us to the first investment, the one almost everything else depends on. The first investment is self-awareness. Psychologists call it metacognition. Simply put, it's the ability to notice your own thoughts, instead of automatically believing every one of them. Imagine sitting inside a movie theater. Most people become completely absorbed in the film. They laugh, they panic, they cry, without remembering they're watching a movie. Your thoughts work the same way. Self-awareness allows you to step out of the movie and quietly sit in the audience. You still experience every thought, but now you can choose which ones deserve your attention. That small distance creates something incredibly powerful: freedom. But surprisingly, the next investment has almost nothing to do with thinking. It begins while you're asleep. Sleep isn't simply rest. It's overnight brain maintenance. While you're sleeping, your brain reorganizes memories, repairs emotional circuits, removes unnecessary information, and prepares your attention for tomorrow. Neuroscientists often compare sleep to a cleaning crew working after everyone leaves the building. When the crew doesn't arrive, clutter begins to pile up. Small problems suddenly feel enormous. Patience disappears faster. Emotions become louder. Protecting your sleep isn't laziness. It's one of the highest return investments your brain can receive. But even a well-rested brain struggles if its attention no longer belongs to itself. Attention has quietly become the world's most valuable currency. Every notification, every advertisement, every endless scroll is competing for the same limited resource. Behavioral psychology shows that every interruption trains your brain to expect constant stimulation. Over time, deep thinking starts to feel uncomfortable. Focus becomes harder. Imagine your attention as a flashlight. Every time it jumps from one thing to another, its beam becomes weaker. Protecting your attention isn't only about productivity, it's about protecting your ability to think clearly.
And here's something many people forget. Your brain never works alone. It lives inside your body. Movement increases blood flow, supports memory, improves emotional regulation. Even a short walk changes your brain chemistry in measurable ways. Your body isn't just carrying your brain, it's constantly talking to it. Every healthy meal, every stretch, every walk, every moment of movement becomes another investment in your mental clarity. So far, we've invested in awareness, sleep, attention, and the body. But the next investment is even more surprising, because the words you use to describe your emotions, most people believe emotions simply happen to them, but psychology tells a different story. The words you choose to describe your feelings actually influence how your brain processes them. Researchers call this affect labeling. Imagine your emotions as hundreds of files scattered across a desk. Without labels, everything feels like chaos. But the moment you accurately name what you're feeling, I feel disappointed. I feel anxious. I feel overwhelmed. Your brain begins organizing those emotional files. The feeling doesn't disappear instantly, but it becomes easier to understand. And what the brain understands, it can regulate. But understanding your emotions is only the beginning. The next investment asks you to do something your brain has feared for thousands of years. Very few people enjoy difficult conversations, and that's completely normal. Deep inside your brain, social rejection activates many of the same regions involved in physical pain. For our ancestors, being excluded from the group could mean death. Your brain still carries that ancient survival program. That's why honesty often feels dangerous. But every difficult conversation you avoid quietly teaches your brain conflict isn't safe. Every honest conversation you survive teaches the opposite. I can handle discomfort. Confidence isn't built by avoiding uncomfortable moments. It's built by proving you can survive them. Now, here's something fascinating. The next investment is something children naturally do every single day. Children ask endless questions, not because someone forces them, because curiosity activates the brain's reward system. Every new discovery releases a small sense of satisfaction. Adults slowly replace curiosity with certainty. We stop asking, "What can I learn?" and start asking, "What if I'm wrong?" One question opens the mind, the other closes it. Imagine curiosity as a key. Every question unlocks another room inside your mind. The more rooms you explore, the larger your world becomes. But even curiosity needs something modern life rarely gives us: silence. Many people confuse solitude with loneliness. They're not the same. Loneliness is feeling disconnected. Solitude is choosing quiet. When the outside world becomes silent, your brain switches into what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is when memories connect.
Emotions settle. New ideas quietly appear. Imagine shaking a jar filled with muddy water. As long as it keeps moving, everything stays cloudy. But once the jar becomes still, the water clears naturally. Your mind works the same way. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from becoming quieter. And surprisingly, your brain doesn't heal in isolation alone. It also heals through other people. Human beings are emotionally connected creatures. Your nervous system constantly reads the emotional signals of people around you. Psychologists call this co-regulation. A calm conversation with someone you trust can lower stress, slow your heartbeat, and help your brain feel safe again. Think of relationships as mirrors. Every mirror reflects something back to you. Supportive people reflect possibility. Critical people often reflect fear. The people closest to you quietly shape the way your brain experiences the world. Choose those mirrors carefully. But no relationship can replace one final investment: the promises you make to yourself. Most people think confidence comes first, then action follows. Behavioral psychology suggests the opposite. Action comes first, confidence follows. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, taking a walk, reading one page, putting your phone away, your brain collects evidence. I am someone who follows through. Identity isn't created by one big decision. It's built through hundreds of tiny moments that most people never notice. Imagine laying one brick every day. One brick seems insignificant, but over time, those bricks become a house. Your habits build your identity the same way. We've explored 10 powerful investments, but the final 2 connect everything we've learned today because they reveal how your brain quietly transforms. Most people treat boredom like an emergency. The moment it appears, they reach for their phone, turn on a video, or search for something, anything, to fill the silence. But psychology suggests that boredom isn't your enemy. It's a signal. When your brain isn't constantly consuming information, it begins producing its own. Ideas connect, memories surface, creative solutions quietly emerge. Think of your mind as a calm lake. When the surface is constantly disturbed, you can't see beneath it. But when everything becomes still, the water turns clear, and suddenly you notice what was there all along. But even creativity depends on something deeper, the story your brain believes about who you are. Perhaps the greatest investment you'll ever make is your identity. Psychologists describe identity as the collection of beliefs you repeatedly reinforce through your actions. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined, I always fail," your brain begins filtering every experience through those labels. But identity isn't fixed, it's updated. Every small action becomes a vote. Every promise you keep, every challenge you face, every healthy choice you repeat, quietly rewrites the story you tell yourself. You don't become confident first. You become someone who acts, and confidence follows. Now here's the hidden principle connecting all 12 investments, and why none of them create instant change. Your brain changes through repetition, not inspiration. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity. Imagine walking across a grassy field. The first time, almost no path exists. Walk the same route every day, and eventually a trail appears. Keep walking, and that trail becomes the easiest path to follow.
your thoughts.
Habits and emotional reactions work exactly the same way. Every repeated behavior strengthens a neural pathway. This is why tiny actions matter more than dramatic moments. Your brain remembers what you repeat, not what you occasionally attempt. So, if you forget everything else from this video, remember these 4 simple principles.
Whenever you're unsure where to invest in yourself, come back to these 4 principles. First, build awareness before chasing improvement. You can't change patterns you never notice. Second, protect your brain before demanding more from it. Sleep.
Movement, attention, these are necessities, not luxuries. Third, build identity through actions, not intentions. Your brain believes evidence, not promises. And finally, choose consistency over intensity. Small actions repeated every day will always outperform occasional bursts of motivation.
At first, these 12 investments seem completely different, but they're all strengthening the same invisible foundation. They're teaching your brain one simple lesson. I am safe enough to grow. Because a threatened brain focuses on survival. A secure brain explores, learns, creates, connects. Imagine your mind as a garden. Most people spend their lives searching for better flowers, but healthy flowers only grow from healthy soil. These investments don't decorate your life. They improve the soil beneath it. You don't have to change everything today. You don't have to become a completely different person. Just make one small investment, then another. One honest conversation, one quiet walk, one good night's sleep, one promise kept again and again. Because the person you'll become next year isn't created by one extraordinary decision. They're created by the ordinary choices you repeat every day. The world tells you to chase more. Your brain asks for something quieter, a little more attention, a little more patience, a little more care, and perhaps the greatest investment you'll ever make is simply choosing not to abandon yourself. Subscribe for more psychology, self-awareness, and human behavior content.